I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down. Every day 100 trains, every train 100 cars, every car 100 tons, every ton 100 sacks, every sack 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. Some politicians lacking brains said in voices dripping sweet, we don't really need these trains, railroads all are obsolete. They're union strong, it makes demands, they guard their yards with railroad dicks who kick our cops clean off their lands, do not like our politics. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down. Every day 100 trains, every train 100 cars, every car 100 tons, every ton 100 sacks, every sack 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. So the politicians passed some laws to screw more money off the trains and deeper dip their pudgy paws in more control of railroad gains. The railroad said, get off our land. They went on strike to show their peak. The grain train stopped their rolling and the city starved within a week. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down. Every day 100 trains, every train 100 cars, every car 100 tons, every ton 100 sacks, every sack 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. Hunger riots burned and rose and battered down the State House door, and all those fat politicos were killed and eaten by the poor. And with the city out of joint and no more politician men, the railroad said they'd prove their point and sent the grain trains down again. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down. Every day 100 trains, every train 100 cars, every car 100 tons, every ton 100 sacks, every sack 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains.
Good morning, Minecraft Wandering Beekeeper here. How you doing? Welcome. It is 52 degrees fondly Fahrenheit here in Olympia, Washington, and raining, which means that it is yet another day in the cold season. I mean, it's basically like this for a good deal of the year. If you saw the miniseries The Killing, which was the American remake of Forbrid Delson, you know, they set it in the Pacific Northwest so that they could get the mood and have the main character wear the sweaters. And if you don't know why the sweaters are important, you need to. It's an ethnic identity thing for a minority people. For an indigenous people as well. You look it up. Anyway, content warning: I am inappropriate for all audiences. People always want details, so yeah, I cuss a lot, and I live in a legal state, so I talk about weed, and I'm old and queer with 2 trans kids, and we'll talk about our lived experiences and why we're in Washington and no longer in Tennessee, where we lived for much of our lives. Long story. Anyway, we are here to play some Minecraft, and so let us play some Minecraft. Let us get on with this. You have been warned. If you're still here, good on you. Let's see. We got Immersive Geology, and the factory has grown, and it'll just become obvious along the way. I have achieved magnesium and vanadium, did that last stream, which means I now have vanadium plate in the refinery, so I'm getting a much better yield on my sulfuric acid production. I do need to check. Note that I am in creative mode. I will need to swap out of that. We're being a little sluggish here. Why are we being a little sluggish? Heat's fine. I just need to be a little more gentle here, I think. Let's just nuzzle on the jets a little bit and go see how, whoops, I've landed on a tank, dang it. What's going on here? Why am I getting such low frame rate? This is weird. Something's not right here. Okay, I am processing millerite. I'm not processing anything in there, and I could use some coal, some coke. Let's go look at the... Let me try switching out of creative mode into survival mode. That seems to be having some effect. Suddenly moving a little more smoothly. That's interesting. Okay, the red pipe special is now running on vanadium plate. And I'm just throughputing at this point. Trying to produce a bit more down here where I was making hydrochloric. Been trickling in the hydrochloric, trying to get a bit more there. I need something else going into my reverberatory in order, and there's nothing going on this side at all. Okay, this has to get fixed. What have I got? Ooh, don't walk through there. No, Pat, no. Don't sit on that. Here we go. Yes, I have been nether mining. Oh, lordy. Necessary for some of the ores here. Talked about it last stream, actually. Chalcopyrite, chalcocite, and pyrite, all three occur in an intermingled vein. So if you find one, you find all three. It's kind of cool. All right, I need to know what I've got that can go and what I can do with it. I've got alumina. Let's just look and see what it takes to do anything with it. This one needs to go and be reduced to alumina powder, which is then arc furnaced with coke dust and cryolite powder to make aluminium. We could do that pretty fucking easy. I mean, just... Okay, have I not already done this? I've got aluminium ingot. Where's my aluminium ingot on up here? Oh, that's going to be aluminium I found. I haven't actually produced it. That's why I didn't claim it. That's only 4 ingots. That was something I found while exploring. Okay. Good on you. Didn't claim it. Let's go on and do this. The alumina ore goes to the recrusher. I'm just going to hand carry it because there's not that much of it. There. Start that up. Make sure my backpack magnet is off. A little late for checking, but it's better late than never. All right. The alumina is on its way. It will be a little while because it's got to go through a couple of stages. Anatase, I barely got any. Apatite, I feel uncomfortable about. Let's move on to the chalcocite. What happens with chalcocite? Chalcocite I've got crushed chalcocite ore. Here we go. Well, I can recrush it to powder, and then the powder gets pelletized for making copper. Or I can reverb it, get slag, crush it down to slag powder, and get copper and nickel. Or it's an osmium. Everything's an osmium precursor. Oh my God. It's osmization. It's like carbonization in biology. Everything eventually becomes osmium. All right, osmization occurs. Let's go for the byproduct. If I can get that little bit of nickel out, 8% on nickel is actually a pretty nice little return. It's not an uncommon byproduct. It's a common metal, but I might as well. Let's see, where did that, so the chalcocite, that was chalcocite I was looking at, right? No, the chalcocite gets reverbed, and then it gets ball milled and separated. Okay, so first it gets reverbed. We'll pile that in to be reverbed. Chalcopyrite goes to the reverb. No questions. There is no other option. Take it to the reverb. Take it to the reverb. Drop it in the furnace. Oh. This morning is brought to you by Dream Wedding from 50-fold. I talked about them, I believe, last stream. They have crossed Bay Dream with Beach Wedding and produced a thing of beauty. It's a very bad morning, however, for my water filter to have packed it in, and I didn't have a spare. So, yeah, I'm very carefully sipping the last of my coffee to keep from having too dry a throat. Best I can do right now. I need block of coal coke, block of coal coke, block of coal coke. Let's go refuel and fuel. And get that done. Okay. So this and that to make sure that we keep going. Oh lordy, we're almost out of melorite. I gotta find more melorite or something. It's probably keyed on that hopper. I'm gonna hold that coal coke for a minute. I may want to put it in the other side. Let's look and see what else I got. I got a lot of cryolite. I think I'm going to need cryolite powder for the aluminium. So crushed cryolite, yeah, we want to ball mill this down to cryolite powder so that I can make aluminium. So where did that go? There, ooh, being a little weird. All right, not sure I need all of this. I'm going to take that much of it to the recrusher because I believe I'm going to get some of it back. It's not exactly a catalyst, but it only gets partly used. You get some of it back in the process, if I recall correctly. Cuprite. That just goes to a blast furnace. There is no point in doing anything further if I take it to the blast furnace, I can turn it to copper, ingot, and slag. You know, we can go through the whole thing of turning it into powder, and then the powder gets pelletized, and it really doesn't do much for us. I can try and get manganese out of it, but I've got so goddamn much manganese already. Let's just find a blast furnace to huck it into and be done with it. Oh my god, I've got so much manganese. How's this one doing? It's working on vanadinite. Do. Except it's out of coal coke. Let's feed it. There we go. There's another reason to carry this. This doesn't have anything in it. Congratulations, you just got the cuprite. This one it has nothing in it because it was doing manganese and finally ran out. Oh my god. I'm going to fill that up and throw that in there while I'm here. Oh lordy, so much manganese. Oh lordy. Gold. Gold is another one of those that is gonna just go straight on over, I think, to the blast furnace. Chlororic acid, react it with nitric and hydrochloric in the big reactor, and we get chlororic. What do we do with chlororic? We throw it in a crystallizer and we get gold and we get aqua regia back. And aqua regia is damn useful because we can then process gold with it. That seems to be anything else that aqua regia is good for? Platinum ore and getting osmium and chloroplatinic acid. Chloroplatinic acid goes to a crystallizer and you get platinum and aqua regia. Okay, so this is the course to platinum. But to do that, it's the aqua regia that's important here. The aqua regia, I'd have to have crushed platinum ore, which I do not have. The only thing I can really realistically do with this is just to go on and throw it in a blast furnace. Let's just go on. Whoops. Did not mean to grab more vanadinite. When we lived in Chicago, my spouse was the captain of a ship of the Sea Scouts, which is a branch of explorer scouting, and because it's explorer scouting, it's co-ed. We had our kids joined a ship that had already existed up on the north side of Chicago, and well, we sort of showed up with more people. Our kids' friends started showing up. We were part of the homeschooling community on the north side, the secular homeschooling community, and that was a big, very active organization. And our kids had a lot of other homeschool kids they hung out with, and they all gamed together. We had a huge Earth Dawn group. At one point, it hit 14 people. It was amazing. Managing a role-playing group of 14 people was intense. It was more stage managing than GMing. And yeah, we had this ship of Sea Scouts. And when you have a bunch of teenagers, mid to late teens, who grew up on Sesame Street, and the big annual sailing destination. And bear in mind, these are Sea Scouts. They are actually doing maintenance on a sailing on a sailboat. The council owned multiple sailboats, and the kids did the maintenance on the boats, and then went out and sailed them under adult supervision. The kids did the work while the adults sat in the cockpit and provided guidance where needed. But yeah, it was a whole thing. And the big event of the year was sailing from Chicago over to Menominee Island. Menominee, And every time anybody said the name of the island or the event, you'd get half a dozen teenagers going do 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 do, and it gets in your head. And I just can't get it out of my head at this point. I grew up on Sesame Street. I mean, I was around in the early days of it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm ranting on, and let's move on here to hematite. Hematite just gives us iron. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of gain from ball milling it and so forth. Gravity separating, we get chromium. Don't think I'm really in need of chromium. We've already claimed chromium. So let's just take the hematite and go huck it in a blast. And there's not that much of it. Let's just go huck it in one of these blast furnaces. We'll huck it in after the cuprite. There we go. Dealt with. All right, we're working on aluminium. We have aluminum grit. I want to take the aluminum grit and just take one stack of it, and I'm going to key the ball mill to it so that it continues to pull it in. And we'll get that loaded. There we are. Get that going. All right, now what else did we need for our aluminium? Let's go back and look at the recipe. Into the arc furnace we cast alumina powder. We are working on making it. Coke dust and cryolite powder. So here is our alumina powder. Here's a little bit of coke dust. We had better have more coke dust, which means I need to have more coke, which means I need to make sure that my ovens are going. We'll go check that in just a second. Let's click here and shortcut over to coke dust. And if I drop a block of cold coke into a crusher, I get coke dust. Cool, I don't have to send it through the ball mill. I can just drop it into the recrusher. Recrusher with that. Check the coke ovens. Ooh, coke ovens not going. Not so much with the going. Coke ovens are full of creosote. There's our problem. Go run the perpetual motion machine. Q powerhouse. Which is about as close as I can get to actually using the tune without Twitch getting weird about copyright. Their algorithm, or whatever the fuck they're using these days, maybe one of those perpetual theft machines. Let's get this going and see what that does for us. I need to get the coke ovens going. Come on, baby. Come on. Not pulling it yet. I can pull some coke here. All right. I'm going to need to go make coal. I'm going to go make coal block first off. Rather than, I thought I would be dealing with empty ovens and was going to try and just go on and get anything going. Not so much the thing. Let's have a couple of stacks of that so that I've got block of coal. Actually, let's keep those out. Block of coal coke goes in. Let's go load the ovens even though they're not going yet. And see what's going on out here. We are continuing to make Duroplast. Don't think we're making... No, there's our problem. We are not... Are we out of acetaldehyde? We're out of acetaldehyde. I need to run this. I need to tap the ethanol for a bit. All right. Fire that up. That should send some acetaldehyde on through into here. There we go. At which point... let's flip this on. Go. And start making more phenolic resin. Okay. That's going to be going regardless. There's plenty of phenolic resin in there right now, although running it down is not a bad idea. Let's go and shut this off so I can see if I'm making progress here. 184. Oh, I've definitely made 186. Okay, we are in fact making phenolic resin. 187. There we go. All right. And hopefully in the near future we will get this. Yeah, I can see that we are starting to drain down. All right. We're good there. Light level just changed. I think we had a big cloud. Oh, there it went. It's dropped down enough that the coke ovens are lit again. There we go. All right, I'm going to leave that running for a while, and just I've got to get my coke oven strained out. Let's see where we are over here. I put some cryolite in. Let's start gathering up materials here. Here is coke dust and alumina powder and cryolite grit. Don't have any cryolite powder yet. I have to ball mill it. Right. Did I not? Okay. Let's pull that out and get it to the ball mill. Ball mill is kind of busy at the moment. Let's turn off the filter a minute. Make sure this loads in. Okay. Got cryolite powder working. Cryolite powder starting to come out here. All right. What's our recipe again? Looks like it's a 1 to 1 to 1. All right, and it's 1 alumina powder, 1 coke, 1 cryolite gives us an aluminium ingot and a 40% chance of cryolite powder. Okay, so we're going to use 60% of the cryolite going in, but we have we'll get 40% of it back out. Just got to be patient with it. All right. Speaking of being patient, we're waiting for a second here. Oh, man. Willamist. Your category is still Roots of Pacha. Oh, gosh. Now is an excellent time to fix that. I knew I forgot something. Dagnabbit. I always manage to forget something. Usually it's setting the game screen, but you know. Managed to get that. Okay, there we go. Let's see if that'll fix that. We'll do, yeah. Alright, I'm seeing Mineraft Trains'n'Tech on the console now. Got it. There we go. Thank you. Thanks for catching that. Oh gosh. Alright. Well, that gave me something to do for a second while I produced enough cryolite powder to go to the arc furnace. Let's go to the arc furnace. Here is the arc furnace. Turn it off. Oh, the heck is all this vanadium? We were processing vanadium and ran out of something. What were we what does it get processed with? It gets processed with magnesium grit. Do I have any magnesium grit in the system, or do I need to clean out the arc furnace? Cleaning it out or running it out, either one. I'd almost rather magnetite powder, magnesium ingot. I'm out of magnesium grit. I'm going to have to clean it out. Okay. Oh, shame on me. I left it in a terrible state here. There we go. All right, now we're running alumina powder against coke dust and cryolite powder. Distribute the alumina powder. There we go. Fire it up. There we go. And we are making aluminium and getting some cryolite back. There we go. Make sure that I have cleared out and shut off my arc furnace this time. Wow. Really sloppy procedure. Ugh. Yeah, that's the kind of thing you get written up for. Alrighty. This, and this into there. the aluminium ingot. And I'm going to go over this and make sure. Don't believe no, I have not claimed it yet because I hadn't produced it yet. Now I've produced it. There we go. Aluminium is added to the trophy wall. All right, that's one metal produced in the stream so far. What else have I got going? Let's look through real quick. I had thrown some stuff in for slagging. What else have I got? Let's just move on through here. Lead, hardly any. Pyrite. I mean, it's iron. Let's see. Pyrite ore. Well, we can ball mill it down to pyrite powder and pelletize it and cook it into iron. Whoop-de-pop. We can reverb it and then ball mill the slag and then separate it and maybe get molybdenum. Molybdenum is fun. I don't remember seeing molybdenum over there. Let's go for the molybdenum. So we're going to take the pyrite and what little there is of it. Didn't spend a lot of time in the nether. You know, not totally into it, you know. And yeah, this is working on millerite. It's still got a bit of millerite there to go. This has got a fair amount of other stuff. This is out up here. I'm going to drop the pyrite. Kind of want to drop the pyrite over here. Let's go and drop the pyrite over here and then go get some coke and fire up that furnace. Boop. Block of coal coke. Off we go. And I'm going to fire up just that side. Yeah, this reverb furnace, by the way, is done in the legacy skin, where, let's see, drop that in and boom, there we go. Okay, we'll start slagging down that pyrite. All right, moving on. We are over here doing chalcopyrite and millerite. I need to see if I've got slag over here that I can drop into. I've got a number of things going on here. Let's just grab what I've got here. Ooh. Actually, I'm going to put the vanadinite back and get out the chalcopyrite. And put it in first. And yeah, let's go and drop the galena slag in. That'll get most of it out of the storage. Okay, ball mill. Ball mill is doing stuff. Ball mill is going to be doing a lot of stuff for a while. Where are we here? We have aluminum. We've achieved aluminium. Apatite powder. We'll talk about apatite some other day. Calcium oxide. Agent. Let's move back to here. Pyrolusite. Pyrolusite. Well, I can bang it straight into manganese, or I can ball mill it and separate it into manganese and iron. Oh God. All right. Whatever. Let's huck it into the ball mill just to be rid of it. Well, I'll take a load of it over to the ball mill anyway. So much goddamn manganese. There we go. All right. Now. What else? What else? What else? We have silver. I believe I already saw silver over here. It's chromium, nickel, stainless steel, manganese. Did I not do, have I not claimed silver? Well, son of a buck. I have not claimed silver. Let us claim silver. I have the ore. I have gone out and prospected, found the ore, and I believe there was a discussion of this on the Discord earlier this morning, or earlier today, something. So I read it this morning that there was no pelletizing for silver grit because there's no point. You don't gain anything from it. So I'm just going to take 8 stacks and go throw them in a blast furnace and wait for them to come out the other side. That's 10 and vanadium, and it's going on forever and a day. This, cuprite and hematite, this one, oh, it's down to that little bit of gold. Let's put the silver behind it, and there we go. Hi-yo silver away. Smithsonite. Smithsonite. Got crushed smithsonite ore. Well, I can get zinc. Just straight up, boom. I can ball mill it into powder and pelletize it and get zinc. Or, wait a second here. There we go. If I rotary kiln the stuff, I get smithsonite slag, which then goes and gets ball milled into smithsonite slag powder, and gravity separates, and we get zinc oxide and copper oxide. That is a lot of trouble to get copper as a byproduct. I mean, really, that's a lot of trouble to get copper as a byproduct. I want to go on and claim zinc. I'm just going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight to a blast furnace. I think I just loaded this one with silver, and this one has hematite, and we'll drop in the zinc behind it. There we go. Get that going. We'll do other fancier shit with smithsonite some other day. Sphalerite. Sphalerite. No. Sphalerite. Well, we can ball mill it into powder and then pelletize it for zinc. Wait, what? There's no separator? There's no... If we ball mill it down to powder, all we can do is pelletize it for zinc. Okay. If we reverb it and get slag and powder that, we get zinc and a side of iron. It's a 75% chance of a side of iron. That's actually pretty nice. Let's go on and reverb the sphalerite. I need stuff in the reverb anyway. And there's rather a lot. Oh, there's rather a lot here. Let's not take a load of it over. Let's take an exemplar and go key one of the chests here. Let's go key a hopper. What do we got? This has still got some stuff in it. This is all fed down into there and needs stuff. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. You have sphalerite rolling in. Okay. And we will reverb the sphalerite and go for that 75% chance of iron. All right, that's feeding in automagically. We have thorite because the end is loaded with thorite. I mean, just wow. It's so common everywhere. Thorite grit. Thorite grit. Okay. Thorite grit has no recipe to continue. Thorite powder has no recipe at all. And thorium crystal is obtained with thorium nitrate from nitric acid. Thorium nitrate is gained in the centrifuge from cloudy uraninite nitrate. Okay, there is nothing to do with the thorite right now. The linking recipes don't exist yet. The chain's not finished. Vanadinite. I was slagging this down, but I was the blast furnace that was doing that was is now doing 10. And I don't think vanadinite can go. I mean, you can cook it straight into. Put it in the blast furnace, you get lead and vanadinite slag. Put it in the crusher, get a cookie. Oh, thank you, Muddy Cats, for the placeholder. To let us know that, no, we're not going that direction yet. Oh, I did not expect the cookie. Oh, congratulations, Muddy Cats. You broke me up on stream. Oh, dear. Oh no. You want a cookie? What do you want? Okay. Oh, all right. I had to find a blast furnace to put this in, and there's an awful lot of it, so it needs an exemplar. And so what I'm going to do is come over here and see what this is doing. It is right now doing vanadinite, but this is all loaded up with tin, and the vanadinite will not throughput. Okay. I needed to know that. I don't want to skip the 10 here. There we go. We'll load vanadinite in after it. Yeah, that's not loading through. I'm going to do 10 next. Okay, you are working on the hematite. Eventually might get to smithsonite. I'm going to push this here. Let's just pop that in and pop that in. Push the cuprite back up here and make it do smithsonite. There we do. As you do. How's this going? We can do the same thing with the gold here. Let's get the silver going so that I can get it on the wall during the stream. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. Where are we then? Apatite powder. No. We got... That's carbonate sediment. That was an oops. That's chalcopyrite slag coming in. That's the slag powder. Chalcopyrite slag powder. We already have chalcopyrite slag powder. Slag powder. iron oxide, copper compound dust. That's interesting. Let's take a stack of this and go throw it into the gravity separator. Again, Q powerhouse. 4 separators, no waiting. No, really, it doesn't queue, really. It won't queue. So, off we go with that, and we wait for that to start coming in, and there we go. Copper compound dust. Now, that's it. Chalcopyrite slag powder gives me copper compound dust, which reverbs to copper oxide and sulfur dioxide. That's interesting. I can throw this into the reverb and get more sulfuric acid. That's useful, actually. Oh, hey, there's a nice little bit of it just popped in. That's chromite grit. What are we doing with chromite grit? Well, you ball mill it to chromite powder, and then you cook it into chromium compound dust and iron ingot. Chromium compound dust goes into the chemical reactor with sulfuric acid to make chromium sulfate, and eventually you come around to chromium crystal and sulfuric acid recovered and chromium, and I think I've already done all this. Let's just skip the chromium, yeah, because I've got chromium. I've already done all that. Zircon, there's nothing to do with it yet. Wolframite. Wolf. Crushed wolframite ore gets ball milled into powder, and it says manganese and tungsten. Okay, that's a tungsten precursor. Interesting. Steel, tin. We have tungsten. We've achieved tungsten. Oh, geez. All right. I'm gonna pause a second for cooling. My laptop's looking awfully warm here. And so we're going to take a BRB. Okay, there we go. Looks like we've come back down into a safe area here on the tachometer. Let us resume and look at our ingots, because I believe I might have something I can put up here. Electrum, gold, iron, lead, magnesium, manganese, nickel, silver. I have an ingot of silver. There we go. Hey, I didn't have silver yet. I have silver now. All right. Brand new metal going up on the wall here. Badang. Silver achieved. That's 2 this stream so far, and more on the way. Let's see what we've got in flight. The copper compound dust. I would do better to go compound, wouldn't I? Yes, copper compound dust gets reverbed to produce some extra sulfur dioxide. Okay, that's cool. We'll huck it into a reverb later. I'm going to wait for more chalcopyrite slide to come in before I try and do anything more with it. The wolframite I was looking at, that's part of the tungsten chain. I've already got tungsten, but let's go on and get it started into processing. It needs to be gritted and powdered, so it needs to go to the recrusher first. Rather a lot of it, so I'll go key the recrusher for wolframite and let it work for a while. All right, you do the wolframite and we'll take care of that later. We'll move it on to the ball mill in a bit. The vanadinite is already set up. All right, nothing. All right, I'm at the end of the chain here. Let's move on to look at what powders I have in. Alumina, chalcopyrite slag, not much yet. Cryolite, already know what that is. Fluorite powder, that goes into making hydrofluoric acid, among other things. Let us look at fluorite powder. Fluorite powder with sulfuric acid produces hydrofluoric acid and calcium compound dust. And hydrofluoric acid is one of the big, nasty, eat your face. This stuff will absolutely fucking kill you if you give it even half a chance. Nasty, nasty shit. Okay, necessary for bringing out neodymium. Because the neodymium fluorite then goes on to a crystallizer, gets you hydrofluoric acid returned, and neodymium crystal and neodymium ingot, and we haven't done that yet. What are we running it against? All right, so if I produce hydrofluoric acid, that gets me cryolite. Whoop-de fucking shit. Neodymium, I need to run it against neodymium oxide. Or thorium oxide, which gets you thorium fluorite. Where do I get thorium oxide? Better question, where do I get neodymium oxide? I get it from neodymium compound dust put in the rotary kiln. That comes from ammonia. Oh, Lord, ammonia. One of the reasons why Excuse me. One of the reasons why this particular release was made was to correct the recipe for ammonia. Okay, if I want to go after this, I gotta go after a bunch of shit. Oh boy. Okay. First, to get ammonia, I'm going to need calcium slag powder. I get that from calcium slag, which I get from the arc furnace with calcium oxide and coke dust, and there's what I do with all that calcium oxide. Okay. What have I got for coke dust? Actually, a fair amount. Let's take 4 stacks and calcium oxide 1:1. Okay. Take this to the arc furnace. There's, if you've ever seen the movie Brazil, what I've got going in my head is the bouncy little song that plays in the soundtrack while the main character is driving the absolutely ridiculous little car they've issued him to go out on a field visit, on a field verification. He comes back and finds it has been stripped for parts and the remains have been burned. But yeah, as you do. But yeah, when he's driving out, there's this bouncy little tune playing on the soundtrack. And it's one of those things like hold music that gets stuck in your head. Oh my God. This is going to be going for a little while. Okay. Understood that we are going to be running the arc furnace for a while for this. Let's go find out what else is going on. Oh. Get that running. Awful lot of things that you set up the process. It's been on my list to watch for decades, still haven't. I met my spouse at a midnight showing of Brazil at a campus cinema at a university neither of us attended. This explains much about our relationship. Okay, we were looking, let's look at slag and see what needs to be taken to the ball mill. Because I'm sure there is plenty to take to the ball mill at this point. All right, let's just go on and take this on over. Whatever else is going in, yeah, I'm going to go on and throw the rest of this in and just load it up. I might as well. Yeah, it's backed up a bit. One ball mill is probably not enough, but, you know, that's life. Yeah. There's a whole, I love stories of that sort of thing. My favorite is my great-grandmother's custard pie recipe, which I've told on stream before. But, yeah. My mother actually met my father through a part-time boyfriend who didn't really have time for her. Guy by the name of Stanton Scarman. Stanton was a very busy young man. We have a lot of powders. What do these powders do? Vanadinite slag powder. Stanton Scarman really didn't have time for my mother, and occasionally would swing by with a friend of his saying, look, I can't take you out this Saturday. This is so-and-so. Let's see if you two get along and maybe he can take you out on Saturday. And yeah, my father was one of these substitute boyfriends brought in by Stanton, and they told Stanton, thank you very much. Neither of us need to have anything further to do with you. It was a bit more polite than that. They did remain friends, but it was a weird situation that Stanton introduced my father to my mother as a substitute because he couldn't make enough time for my mother, and my father could, in fact, make enough time for her. Okay, this just gives us vanadium oxide and lead oxide, but we might as well process it. Let's go on and take it out and go through it in the separator. Anyway, let's see. We had some other powders. Scheelite powder. What do you do with scheelite? Scheelite powder. Well, there we go. Tungsten. That's where I got my tungsten, not the wolframite. It's from the scheelite. Okay. So that's just for making more. Whoops. Didn't mean to exit completely out of it. Millerite slag. Millerite slag powder. Usual rant. Okay, nickel and chromium. Well, there you go, chromium oxide. Bada bing, bada boom. The chromium the easy way. Let's go take this millerite slag powder and huck it in the gravity separator. There we go. Zoom. Magnetite powder, I believe, gets us iron and maybe in a byproduct. Iron and nickel. 8% chance of nickel. We've already got it milled down to powder. We might as well gravity separate it. All right, that's rather a lot. I'm going to have to wait a minute here. I'm going to throw that back for a second because I know my gravity separator is a little full right now. Galena slag powder. Again, wow. And there's silver. That might be where I got that silver as a side product off of the Galena. All this needs to go to the gravity separator, and there's so much of it. It's going to take a few minutes. All right, let's go look at creosote levels here. Oof, that's still, oh damn. And we're full again because we ran out of ethanol over here or something, didn't we? No, we're not out of ethanol. Where are we producing? What's going on here? I got creosote. I got power. I don't have acetaldehyde coming in. Let's go over here. This is empty. This ethanol is not flowing. The spice must flow. It's going to drain fast and hard because it's going to two sources, but the spice must flow. Now we are getting acetaldehyde. And starting to make more phenolic resin. There we go. Works better if you plug it in. Yeah, turn on the flow of ethanol. 198. All right, now we're moving again. Ah, coming down. Coming down. Should have a reignite soon enough. I'm going to sit here and watch it a second. I've also got an awful lot of in-flight processing right now. One of the things about this sort of factory processing is you got to understand it's going to take time for all this stuff to do. You can see in the background the gravity separators chugging away. It looks like millerite. Yeah. 4 separators, but we're still cranking away, waiting for the level to come down for this to reignite. Come on. Come on. I believe I am hearing a little bit of white noise from the window from the rain on the carport. It becomes such a it's such a constant thing that I kind of tune it out after a bit. I only really notice it if the rain gets hard and it gets loud. How far down does this have to go before it reignites? There we go. It has to drop below 7,000. Okay. But we have reignition. Okay. Coke ovens are going again. Ooh, excuse me. And this is at 212. I see no reason to run the perpetual block machine. Got enough running already. Calcium slag. Okay, now we have... Once we've achieved calcium slag, it gets ball milled into calcium slag powder, which then gets run with water to make ammonia and to make ammonia. There we go. This is our ammonia coming up here. All right, let's drop this into the ball mill. Glorioski. Yeah, it's going to be a while. Our poor ball mill is loaded up just a bit at the moment. Oh, where are we in various processes? We have a lot of stuff in flight right now. I've gone through all the ores, and they're all going into the various places they need to go. Pretty much. I mean, some of I've still got half the smithsonite, but I'm not doing anything further with it right now. Let's look at our oxides. What have I got? Vanadium, already done. Titanium. Nickel. Iron, chromium, calcium, titanium. Did I see titanium over here? No. I don't see titanium over here. Okay, hold on a second here. I got something here maybe. I was looking at oxides. I got titanium oxide. What's it need to be processed with? Something obnoxious, I'm sure. It gets processed with hydrochloric acid to make titanium chloride, which then goes against magnesium grit and gets you titanium grit and carnallite brine. Okay, I think magnesium grit I've achieved already. Well, there's a little bit. Magnesium grit from the crystals, from the chloride. Go out to the line and see what I've got out here. I was making more hydrochloric because I had other stuff going on. What all have I got? What's all actually going on here? All right, this is rock salt brine, and it's being reacted with sulfuric acid and making hydrochloric acid. The hydrochloric is being fed over here and is being reacted with carnallite brine for magnesium chloride. All right, here's my magnesium. All right, I have the magnesium crystals. They get crushed to magnesium grit for further processing. All right, can I run this line? Carnallite brine. Problem is the hydrochloric acid. How am I doing on hydrochloric acid? Have I got enough to run over here? I got 8 buckets. Whoopty shit. This isn't running. There is plenty of sulfuric. Let's go on and run it full of rock salt brine. Okay. Shut that off. Sulfuric acid is full. The sulfuric acid line is coming from here. This orange line here. And I'm going to make sure that needs to be shut off. I want it to start accumulating here. Okay, it's accumulating here now. Verified. Okay, let's run this and run the rock salt brine against the sulfuric acid and make hydrochloric acid. And that'll empty it out. It'll come out even this time, thank you. At some point, I'm going to have like stainless steel plate, I think, to repair this. Nominal. Okay. But yeah. Okay. How are we doing over here? We're just about done here. Oh, Lordy, please, heat. Do not do this. Do not do this. Come on. Come on. Let's make sure we're in line with the fan. Got the window open. Oh, really being nervous. Got it. All right, we are down to empty and shut it off. And that gets us up to 16 buckets, which I am going to then dump over to the others, to the next system. I'm just going to send the whole thing over. All right, it is processing. We've got some processing happening here. I think are we getting magnesium? No? Yes, no? Oh, we're full, and we're not getting carnallite brine. Cut that off. Load in the carnallite brine. Okay, that's full. Shut it off. Go shut off the hydrochloric. Hydrochloric off. That's the power line for the next stuff going in. Okay, we are full up. Let's fire it up. We'll keep an eye on it. Running some of these acids, the basic chemical reactor is cheaper to build than the big chemical reactor, but it's not as sturdy. I will eventually have to bring stainless steel plates over here and do some field repair. Looks like right now we're okay though. Alrighty, so that runs. This needs to be switched on. Oh, actually it is. Okay. There it is. There it goes. Okay, it actually is switched on. Cool. We're getting throughput here. That has emptied out. Let's switch it off. This is working. Going to be a little while processing all of that. In the meantime, what do I need to set up for this? Well, I have magnesium grit, and I want to run it against titanium chloride and water to produce titanium grit and carnallite brine. To get to titanium chloride, I have to run my titanium oxide against hydrochloric acid. So I need to run my hydrochloric acid line on over to a new line and set up a reactor. Okay, I'm going to need, let's go on and look at this again. All right, so I'm going to need one reactor running hydrochloric against titanium oxide, a second running the titanium chloride against magnesium and water and recovering carnallite brine in order to get the titanium grit. Run it a titanium chloride against water over sodium grit, and you get rock salt brine. There. All right. Interesting. I can get rock salt brine if I have sodium grit. I have sodium. Hold on a second. Let me review that. sodium grit is obtained from sodium crystal, which I have to crystallize sodium hydroxide, which I get by mixing sodium oxide with water. Sodium oxide comes from sodium compound dust in the rotary kiln. Lordy, lordy, lordy. And the skies were not cloudy all day. That is way more processing than I want to do right now. Oh shit, I'm about to overheat. Alright, we're going to pause a second. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Please don't, please don't. I got a half an hour left in my stream. We're going to pause a second and we're going to give it a moment. It's just not cold enough in the room. A little warmer out this morning. Come on, come on, come on. Drop that heat down. Drop that heat down. All right, we're going to take the magnesium route here. So first thing I need to do is set up a basic chemical reactor running hydrochloric acid against the titanium oxide that I already have. Give it a second, see if it comes down any, please. Please, please, please. Come on, come on. Poor thing is just cooking. I've got as much airflow as I can, I think, manage. Let's, hang on, I can do better. Crank up the desk fan. Just realized I have the desk fan on low. Let's crank the desk fan up to medium. See what that does for us. Try to bring this down a little. It's going to be after the first of the year before I can even think about a replacement system. And then I got to figure out where I'm going to get the money for it because times are tight. Times is hard all over. All right. I think it's coming down a little here. Okay. So I need the small chemical reactor. Rotary kiln, where's the small chemical reactor? It's in my hand. It's in my inventory already, along with the fluid tank and probably everything else I need here. Let's go on and get this going here. And this magnesium crystal needs to go to the recrusher. Plug that in, get it made into grit. Now let's see, my hydrochloric acid is there in the green line. And power is here. I want to bring my hydrochloric on up to a... Yeah, I'm going to want my chemical reactor here. Can't see the damn... Alright, flip back to creative. Can't see the grid. This is a bug. It's a known bug. It's an annoying bug, but it's a known bug. It's being worked on. Okay, there's our chemical reactor. Let's bonk it with the hammer. Alright. Put a lever on it and switch it off before we do anything else. Come on. Switch off. There we go. Thank you. Alrighty. I need green dye. Which I think I have. in my storage already? If I do, I don't want another exemplar. Green dye. Here is green dye. Zip. Zip, the spring was made. Line from a Dr. Dolittle novel that has, for some reason, stuck with me. I don't know why. Okay. Now, shutting off this is going to be a simple matter of popping that. I'm just going to do it the hard way. There's more graceful ways to do that. But, you know, I'm not necessarily all about the graceful. All right. Now, I need to load in through this port the titanium oxide. And off we go. I need a chest, and while I'm here, I might as well get the titanium. Here's the chest. There's the the schematic moved back up there. Titanium oxide. There it is. Almost all of it. Back out here. Okay, and Plonka ping, and load that in. And this starts loading in, and there we go. We got titanium oxide loading in. Check the recipe. Yes, I'm 12 years old, and it amuses me that I can type tit for this. Unfortunately, titanium is going to be more practical. All right, titanium oxide. Titanium oxide goes in here with hydrochloric acid, and we get titanium chloride out and no solids. So, fluid tank schematic. Here we go. Fluid tank schematic. Fluid tank is going to go here, I think. And boop. Oh, that's terrible. That's just not acceptable at all. I put it on top of the grass. Who hiss? Now I have to get rid of it. Try again. Clear your work site before you start placing shit. I mean, come on. There. And boom, and much better. Okay, form. Form of? Yes, I'm really doing a Wonder Twin Powers activate here. All right, output is here. There we go. Tank is in place to receive the output. Lever is in place to control the output from the tank. Okay. Let's go on and see if we can hook this up. Gonna need wiring. Think about where is my power connector? It's here. Okay, so my power connector's, whoops, here. I got to bring that line down to here. I need this. I need this. And I'm going to put this right here and hope to hell that I don't have to go on the side of the pole. Looks a little steep. Okay, it works. And connect to here so that it's on the new power grid that I just started building. Got power. How we doing on hydrochloric? Got 14,555. Okay, we need more hydrochloric if we can manage it. Let us load in. I need more hydrochloric. Load in the rock salt brine. Okay. Rock salt brine loaded in. Check back here. Do I have... I don't have... I've got diddly squat for sulfuric acid. It's going to have to wait. Send the hydrochloric on over. Okay, full tonka. All right, hydrochloric acid, titanium oxide, hit the switch. Whamp. We got some titanium chloride, but man, that went through the hydrochloric acid. This is like that commercial about the car, the gas guzzling car, where the guy revs the engine and the fuel gauge drops. All I got is 2 buckets. We got titanium chloride. We have titanium chloride. So from titanium chloride, we need to react it with flowing water and magnesium grit. And we've got, I need to put in a chemical reactor in order to do this. You think about this, it's going to hook in the middle. So I want it on a line with that. Let's put it here. That'll work. The short connection here. All right. I need pipe and lever. Oh, shit. Hang on a second. I'm going to bring this fan all the way up here. I am really, really trying very hard to not overheat here right at the end of the stream. Come on. Come on. Bring it down. Bring it down. Bring it down. You can do it. Come on, baby. Got the fan all the way up. Maximize the airflow. Come on. We'll let it sit for a second on pause and see if that'll help. I feel like I should be playing Spanish Flea, but I don't want to run anything else on my laptop at the moment right now. There we go. Heat's coming down. Heat's coming down. Ooh, we were getting a red edge there on the tachometer that made me very, very nervous. Let's see if I can go on and finish this. Okay, that brings the titanium chloride over to it. Dang it. There we go. Okay, that's for the magnesium grit. And sure, set my pump. Start wiring it up. Oh, shirt. Come on. There we go. This to here. And then I'm going to need the post. He thrusts his fists against the posts and still insists he sees the ghosts. That one I can get away with. Not copyrighted. Very old. Tongue twister practice item. Okay. Got that. Got that. Got that. I need a bucket of water, and I need to see what my output is here. All right, so we got the titanium chloride going in over the magnesium grit. We're going to get titanium grit and carnallite brine. So I am going to get a fluid out of here. I need to accommodate the fluid. The carnallite brine I don't have a tank for yet. So I'm just going to make a tank here. To capture it and worry later about what I'm going to do with it. And it's useful stuff. I just don't, oops, damn it, have a use for it at the moment. Which is just fine. It's not, I don't have to. I can just capture it and then do it later. Okay, we get that. And I'm probably being overly ambitious, putting on a second chest there, but, you know, whatever. Okay, small chemical reactor. We got titanium chloride. We got to get water and magnesium grit. Where's a water bucket? Oh, come on. You're kidding. All right, I'll just drop it in. Give me a second here. Where's my magnesium grit? Here's my magnesium grit. Shouldn't need a huge amount of magnesium grit. I've barely got 2 buckets of titanium here. All right, titanium chloride. I'm going to run it. All right. Grab a water bucket. Bring it around. Okay, water source made, and keep the damn water bucket this time. Okay. And put a lever on it and turn the pump on. Pump is turned on, and we now have water. Okay, we have flowing water. We have magnesium grit. We have titanium chloride. Okay. We have produced titanium grit, which goes to the arc furnace, which by now should be done with the stuff we put in it earlier. Yes, we have more calcium slag and titanium grit. Not worried about the power meter. We're pulling directly from the generator, so. And I have a titanium ingot. We have achieved titanium. Feel like there should be some sort of triumphal march playing there. Titanium added to the wall. That is 3 metals obtained in this stream so far. Now I'm going to check this. See what's in here, because I threw a bunch of stuff in here and there. Don't think anything new is going to show up here, but it never hurts to look. Okay. Okay. All right, fantastic. Let's take the calcium slag to the ball mill, which is still cranking away on all the stuff that we fed it, and we did feed it rather a lot. All right, turn the arc furnace off, collect the rest of the titanium, make sure all this is switched off. That is not. Shut that off. There we go. Make sure that we are tidied up here. Not sure what to do with the Carnlite brine yet. We'll figure it out. Not a big deal. Okay. Whew. 3 different metals. Couple of close calls. How are we doing out here? Let's look at this. This is at 387. And wow, that's emptied. Okay, I'm going to flip the switch there. And we're going to flip the lever here. And that's not getting any more acetaldehyde at this point, so we're going to shut it off. Okay, this is turned off. Make sure that I go through and check things before I close out. How's my creosote level? 398. I got some room. We're doing here, we got plenty of stuff going in, and we got sulfuric acid starting to build up. Got 3 buckets. Not bad. Not bad. We're getting a little more now that we've got the vanadinite plate. Alrighty then. Well, I got 9 minutes here. Not enough time to do really much of anything else. So, I'm going to close out here. Let's just talk a little bit about where we go from here. I've got a whole wall there. I've got a bunch more metals to achieve. I'll be working on them, working through them. It has been lovely having you here. It's been lovely streaming this morning, even with the occasional possible overheat. And there we go. But we made it through. We made it through. Okay, if you have enjoyed this stream, the VOD for it and all the previous episodes are on YouTube at the URL in the bottom right of your screen. I will be back next Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time, with more Minecraft Trains'n'Tech and continuing with Immersive Geology for the foreseeable future. I have a lot of metal ingots to achieve to put up on the trophy wall. There's a challenge involved here. So, before then, I will be back tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific time, Sunday night, with Roots of Pacha, which is what it said my stream was when I started. Sorry. Roots of Pacha is a lovely, cozy farm sim and dating sim in which a Neolithic people invent agriculture. It's beautifully constructed. It's everything Stardew Valley wanted to be. You know, Stardew Valley was a big step in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. Roots of Pacha is the next step, and it's a beautiful thing. Please join me 6 p.m. tomorrow night for Roots of Pacha. Beyond that, I am happy to be part of the truck community streamers. There's the streaming schedule in the upper left. We have a lot of stuff going on. Last night I was watching Kirby, the night before Donkey Kong Bonanza, and the night before that we had one of our people play through a solo role-playing game book. It was really actually quite interesting doing the playthrough on that. A lot of stuff going on. Check us out. And so, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow night with Roots of